Right, legends, how are you doing? Let's jump right into it. First and foremost, smash the like button. Let's get this going. All right, taking a look at Bitcoin. What a breakdown. Now, we lost a very, very important level, which I've highlighted several times, and that level is $65,000. Can you guys please confirm if you can hear me? Hello, hello. All right. So we ended up getting that 4-hour close below $65,000. If you guys have come to see my trading strategies, I really like using candle closes. I don't like the wicks. Now, we got that initial close below $65,000. So at this point in time, it wasn't looking that great. However, there is a little bit of hope here. So right now we're essentially stuck between the 65K level and the value area low. If you've been in my community, you know that I was looking to go long on a relief rally. And I already saw some comment sections saying, man, your hype long is not looking good. And that is correct. If Bitcoin can't at least reclaim this value area low above $66,400, then things won't be looking that good. We cannot ignore that fact. And guys, the thumbnail that you just saw for this live stream is unfortunately taken directly from Donald Trump's Truth Social. He came out and said, we're winning too much. It's just not fair. Does this look like winning to you? The thing we need to understand here is mainly the stock market. I know some of you are, deep into crypto and you don't really pay attention to the stock market, but the stock market ultimately determines how the crypto market will perform, especially at this point in the cycle. Unfortunately, the upside moves for the stock market have not been coinciding with the upside moves for Bitcoin. Every time the stock market pumps, Bitcoin seems to have a mind of its own. However, every single time that the stock market dumps, well, Bitcoin tends to dump even further. It's quite frustrating, but this is just the phase of the cycle that we're in. And believe me, we are getting close to the bear market bottom. That's at least what I personally think. A reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I discuss on the channel should be construed as financial advice. I'm just a trader. I analyze the market. I share my insights every single day. You can read the disclaimer in the description down below. Now, let's get back to the Bitcoin price action. First and foremost, on the lower time frames here, let me just go to the 1 hour. I really would like to see us reclaim the value area low. If we cannot reclaim the value area low out of this range that we've been in for essentially the past month, then things won't be looking good. Did anyone close the hype long? Okay, yeah, let's talk about the trades. You can see here my trades. I'm getting cooked on my hype long. Now, my invalidation, let me just scroll down and click on my hype trade. My invalidation here is literally a multiple 4-hour closes below this level, 27,423. And look at the price. I mean, we are well below that level. So unless in the next hour or so a miracle occurs, Bitcoin catches a massive bid and naturally hype would get some kind of relief, this trade will likely be closed at a loss and I'll be closing it live. You'll see me lose $17,000 live. That being said, as annoying as it may be, I have the massive hedge in the market. So look, this short is probably just going to continue to print, but I need to look for new trading setups. And I have to be honest, over the past, I want to say couple weeks, I've gotten stopped out on quite a good amount of longs. So I'm obviously risking way less capital on these longs, but it is still frustrating because at the end of the day, no one likes losing money. But it is what it is. That is trading for you. You need to take on some losses, and I'll show you me closing this trade as soon as the 4-hour candle closes, assuming we close below this level. So right now Bitcoin is currently sitting at $66,000. With my kind of trade setups, I like to get multiple 4-hour closes below a certain level for that extra confirmation. I still believe that Bitcoin wants to range around. Now, I don't think that we're just going to absolutely nuke here, although I could be proven wrong. I still think that Bitcoin wants to essentially range around. And if we can go ahead and reclaim this level over here, $66,450, I would say that things are still looking relatively solid. I know this candle looks scary, but the moment that we can break above it with conviction, well, I'd be content with my overall positions in this market regardless. BTC retesting 15-minute. I know some of you guys are more lower time frame traders. I have to say, I like swing trading. Unfortunately, from a longing perspective, this market has most certainly not been a swing longing market. Swing shorting, that's a whole different ball game. By the way, I need to let you guys know that I will start pivoting to trading some stocks and some stocks and some gold and silver, precious metals. And if that interests you, you can actually join me on Bluffin over here, where you can get a VIP 1, which significantly reduces your trading fees, and up to a 20% deposit bonus. Of course, you have to join the platform and start trading. If you click this link in the description down below, you'll get access to that. You can see my Bluffin account is actually currently VIP 4. So, you know, I use this platform as my go-to platform, and the more and more stocks that they start adding to the platform, the more and more I will continue to use it as my all-in-one platform. You can see they have Circle, Coin, Amazon, MicroStrategy, Hood, and I'm actually getting them to list the S&P 500 index, which would be great to trade, but they do have gold and silver as well. I will be looking for some trading opportunities in terms of precious metals. So let's see what Bitcoin's doing here. I mean, guys, if we can go ahead and get a 4-hour close back above this value area low, and this was just a little move to the downside, I would still be willing to say that Bitcoin could be finding its way above $70,000. Now, I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous. Some of you probably think it's way over, and believe me, I have to repeat myself, I stand to benefit massively if Bitcoin just continues to go lower. However, this kind of price action that we're seeing is still the same kind of price action that we saw when we originally hit those 80K lows. I lost 70% of my portfolio. Anyone else in the same boat? Look, I know it's frustrating, but if you're still paying attention to crypto right now, as I've said time and time again, I do think that there is a very good case to be made that you will make it. You just have to learn from your mistakes. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making, at least from a spot portfolio perspective, has been, unfortunately, this cycle, everyone came in with the narrative of altcoins will make me rich. And that is unfortunately not the case, and very rarely has it actually been the case, because most people that have made gains with altcoins end up losing those gains over time. The number one rule of crypto, I don't know how many of you guys are new to the industry, but the number one rule of crypto is to always have a Bitcoin heavy crypto portfolio. And if you hold that rule true, you're going to be perfectly fine. But most people, they just think that because Bitcoin isn't as attractive anymore, it's too high of a number, therefore it can't do the multiples that you're expecting. Of course, that's a little bit valid. However, it does tend to outperform the rest of the market, especially when we are in the current monetary policy conditions, quantitative tightening that is. Now, let's go over the chart. So right now you can see Bitcoin is trying to hold above this level after dipping into it. We held on to it a little bit in 2024 on the weekly time frame basis, but ultimately we ended up bleeding lower. So if we cannot reclaim this value area low, I don't think things will be looking good. And I'll likely be closing all of my long trades, just to be perfectly clear. I went on losing alts. Yeah, look, alts are the, it's really tricky because I've built my channel around not being bullish on altcoins, and it was hard because I got a lot of hate for being bearish, but now you can see how the price action has developed. I had so much conviction in altcoins bleeding against Bitcoin that I actually entered a pretty solid Bitcoin dominance long. I've been holding this trade since forever. That's the other thing with Bluffin, guys. Bluffin is like they let you trade a whole bunch of different metrics. There's not that many exchanges where you can literally trade Bitcoin dominance. And I entered it around sub 4,000. The way it works with Bitcoin dominance is it allows you, or the way that it's calculated is a basket of the top altcoins compared to Bitcoin, that performance. And this is how you can actually trade Bitcoin dominance on Bluffin, if that, of course, interests you. Now, at this point in time, I think it's silly to start going max long on Bitcoin dominance because my entry is much, much lower. But I've continued to hold this trade largely because Bitcoin keeps outperforming the rest of the market, whether that's to the upside or to the downside. Now, we can go on the shorter time frames because I wanted to touch on my previous analysis regarding Bitcoin dominance. Man, this market sucks like ass. What do you recommend? Staying quiet in the market now because going short doesn't sound smart. It's very, very tricky. Obviously, nothing that I discuss on the channel can be construed as financial advice. If you guys want to see my exact trades in this market, my own personal trades, how I am using my own capital and trading the market, well, remember, you do have the first link in the description down below. It's also in the pinned message here. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and you'll get all of the details to be able to join my group. The requirement is that you've only signed up with one of my affiliate exchange links and you start trading on there. Guys, my go-to by far is Bluffin. I have most of my trading capital on there. So if that interests you, click the second link in my description down below, sign up to Bluffin, and then join me on Telegram, and you're able to see my own personal trades. But what I want to get to here is Bitcoin dominance. If you guys have been watching the channel for quite some time, I've been pretty damn bullish on Bitcoin dominance, although over the past few weeks, my thesis has been that altcoins can get some outperformance. And unfortunately, what I'm showing you here is that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. You cannot argue with the charts. It's been 1, 2, 3. Currently, we're in our 4th week of Bitcoin dominance dropping below its bull market support band. But this is unfortunately what I didn't want to occur, in the sense of the reason why altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin is because they are dropping less than Bitcoin. I know it's very frustrating to hear, but this ultimately creates the environment where Bitcoin dominance drops just because altcoins have already suffered enough. The whole market is still going down, right? Coinbase index seems to be flipping green. This is also interesting. I wanted to cover this in today's video. Check this out, guys. This is what you want to pay attention to. There is some buying from Coinbase's standpoint. Now, obviously, it flipped green and then we dropped in the red again. But again, if Bitcoin can reclaim its current value area low, I do think that things will be looking relatively okay, even though it doesn't seem like it. I know it's frustrating to hear that. Let me just go back on the 1 hour time frame and zoom in a little bit. It may not seem possible, but I have seen this time and time again in a choppy environment where people believe, oh, that's it. We broke to the downside. The range is broken, and therefore Bitcoin will just nuke. But take a look at this. We managed to just sweep the low, and now you want to see us reclaim the value area low right here. So next thing I wanted to cover was actually the amount of shorts in the market. There is a ton of shorts, and if we go on the 7-day time frame, it may be a little bit more even. Oh, not even. Guys, 7-day time frame, people are piling into shorts. 30-day time frame, exact same picture. 90-day time frame, exact same picture. 180-day time frame. Now, of course, this makes sense because we are in a bear market. If you look at this data, you'll say, okay, well, Mathieu, you're in a short. And it's true. I am in a Bitcoin short, and it is from much, much higher. But depending on the price action that we get here, I may actually consider adding to my own short. And of course, when I decide to enter any kind of trades with my own personal portfolio here, I share it with you in my premium group. If you want to know what exactly I'm doing, you have the first link in the description down below. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and I'd be more than happy to send you the details to be able to join my group. So we just need to see us reclaim this level, and if we can't, and look at this. The stock market performance is not looking pretty. Let's take a moment to check this out. If you exclude stablecoin, Bitcoin dominance is still going up. That's also valid, Grigor. That's also very, very valid. So it has to do with stablecoins. But altcoins are, as a whole, still, relatively speaking, holding up well against Bitcoin. But I mean, we've been in this crazy trajectory for Bitcoin dominance for the entire cycle, basically. Let's see the stock market here. We are so below the production cost. Yes, that is valid. Coinbase index seems to be flipping green, but Bitcoin falls. Look, you have to, the thing with trading the market, especially if you're going to use stuff like this, you can't just look at this and think, oh, this is the be all end all. Coinbase premiums flips green, therefore I'm just going to jump into a long. That's not how it works. You want to use these indicators with confluence to other indicators, as well as, of course, the structure on the chart. The structure is the most important thing. So right now, this is not looking like a very good structure on the lower time frames. I don't want to see us roll over here. Otherwise, I actually have a Bitcoin long, going to close that at a loss. I have my hype long, which is also going to be closed at a loss if we currently get another 4-hour close below that level. And this is, of course, going to be shared in my group probably while I'm live streaming, because, I mean, I have to update my community with my own trades. So let's see how the price action develops. I also wanted to go over a couple of pieces of news. What a legend. Thank you. How do you know that you are reclaiming? Very good question. So usually when it comes to reclaims, I like to use 15-minute candle closes as my confirmation. For example, if we were to pop up above here and we get above this value area low, and by the way, pay attention to the value area low on the exchange that you're using. This one is just Bybit, but the value area low here could actually be a couple $100 different depending on the exchange that you're using. But just as an example, if we start to get 15-minute candle closes back above this level, well, that could be an interesting area to consider going long from my own personal perspective. Now, if we don't and we get rejected, as we've seen, let me just go on a different chart where I also showed this, because now I'm confused with my own value. There it is. Okay. I was using Coinbase. So you can see here that the value area low on Coinbase is actually $66,400. So we need to reclaim this for me to make any case for longs here. But a reclaim could be used as a 15-minute candle close above the level. But the only thing that you need to consider is this: you need very, very tight risk management. I'm not a scalper per se, but assuming price can just chop around like this and we break above the level, you would want to have your stop below whatever wick materialized if we start testing the level. So we leave wicks to the downside, stop would be right below. That's at least how I would personally play it. Bro, I am in a 200x long on Brett, 80K on Solana, 150K on ETH. Liquidation is 0 for all. Wish me luck. Guys, oh my God. I mean, if your liquidation is 0, I mean, by all means, but you need to be careful with that kind of stuff, because there's some people that don't understand the concept of how leverage should be used. And I'd like to talk about it briefly here. First and foremost, leverage is completely irrelevant. It's about the capital that you're actually risking on a given trade. For example, if you have a $100,000 trading portfolio, as I've said time and time again, and you are willing to risk at most 5% of your trading portfolio, that would be $5,000. And regardless of the leverage that you use, you stand to lose $500 if the position doesn't play out. So of course, you can use more leverage, you can use less leverage, but it's all about the actual capital that you're using on a given trade. Strong bear market plus Trump tariffs plus big war plus general investor fear, open a long is a real challenge. Valid. No one is forcing anyone to do anything. All I'm saying is, for us to get any sign of strength, we need to reclaim the value area low. If we cannot reclaim the value area low of this range, which I'll remind you has been established for basically a month now, then things will simply not be looking good. Right now we have about 30 minutes until the 4-hour candle close. And again, if you're new to the stream, I'm shorting Bitcoin, but I'm also getting wrecked on my hype long. So if we see the 4-hour close below this level, I'm going to end up taking about a 16.5K loss. I think Bitcoin going to 60 here on the 4-hour. All right, let's see legends. Only a headpiece can work in this low volume. You're right. I went on a soul long. How can we recover? All right. Now, I'm going to leave a poll. Go ahead and vote. We're going to see what is next for Bitcoin. I want to see if people are very bearish or very bullish. I'm making money but also getting wrecked. That's valid. That's valid. Guys, the real thing in this market is peace of mind. If you can go to sleep at night with your positions open, then you know that you're risking a decent amount of capital, and a reasonable amount of capital, I should say. That is how I know whether or not I'm risking too much. I go to sleep at night. If I lose this amount of capital, it sucks, of course, but I can handle it. That's the whole point. If you're going to sleep at night and you're stressed about a position, that's not how you trade this market, and it simply means that you're risking too much capital. 70K, 60K. Start pool. We're bang on in the middle, guys. Make sure to go ahead and vote. What is coming next for Bitcoin? 70K or 60K? And by the way, if you want access to my group where I share all of my own personal trades, remember, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and I'd be more than happy to onboard you in my group. I do have that first link. The only requirement, as I've said time and time again, and you can also see the affiliate disclosure in the description down below. I have a big disclaimer as well, not hiding anything. You guys know the drill. If you want to sign up with me, I would highly recommend making Bluffin your top exchange, simply because I really, really like it. And I'm going to be trading gold, silver, stocks on here as well. They're going to be adding oil as well. This is going to be my all-in-one platform, and I really, really like what they have built. First 70K, then sub 60K. We probably sweep the lows and then rock it up from there. Okay, most people are bearish. $70K, 43%. Let's see. Any news on Iran? Do you recommend trading funded? Personally, no, but I have actually explored some partnerships with these kinds of platforms, because if people want it, then I'm happy to help people out and get people onboarded. But for me personally, I've always trade with my own capital. The reason being, you have pretty strict conditions when it comes to these funding platforms. Like you can only lose X amount of the portfolio, otherwise your account gets closed. You have to pass a pretty tricky challenge, and some people may make it seem like the challenges are very, very easy to pass, but in most cases, it may take a couple of accounts to actually get that funded account, and then you have to be pretty careful with the capital. Continuation downwards to the mid 50K region happens after a small relief rally. That is possible. Have you always been a live trader? Or yeah, always. I've always just been trading on my own, but only recently did I start my YouTube channel because I want to help people out. Obviously, showing my losses is part of that journey, but yeah, let's see how the price action develops here. By the way, can you guys hear the music? Leave a comment if you can hear the music. I tried to play some subtle beats. I didn't want to non-copyright beats, of course. Even though I lose 1% of my portfolio every trade, but I keep losing, that's actually stressful. It is stressful. And my overall strategy in this market has been quite simple. It's been looking for swing shorts in this market and also looking for a couple of relief longs, but I'm risking way less capital on my longs. And you can see this by my P&Ls. There was music? Oh, no music. Okay. What if I turn it up a little bit? Now a bit? Okay. Okay. What else did I want to show? Okay, so there's some... Guys, Vitalik is selling his ETH. Like, he's selling his ETH, and look at ETH. ETH is sub $2,000. Why is he selling here? You know, like you would think that this guy would have better entries, but why on earth is he selling his Ethereum? In the past 2 days, he has sold just under 2,000 Ethereum worth around $3.67 million, which is arguably nothing for him. And ETH just keeps dropping, but he just keeps selling. It's pretty silly, in my opinion, how he could have just sold at much, much higher levels. But I think ETH shocked us all this crypto cycle, just wicking to all-time highs, and then that was it. But come on, give me a $600 move for Bitcoin. Let's reclaim that value area low. Let's go over a couple other things. So the key events this week. Now we're going to be seeing how the market is reacting to Trump and his 15% global tariff, because remember, the courts ruled not his tariffs illegal, as I mentioned in my previous video. I saw someone correct me. The manner in which he imposed these tariffs illegal, and we'll get into that in this live stream as well. Tomorrow we have the February consumer confidence data. Then we have the NVIDIA earnings report on Wednesday. This is huge because NVIDIA represents such a large percentage of the stock market. And so if these reports are underwhelming, things will not be looking good for stocks. And naturally, that won't bode over well for crypto, something that you definitely need to consider. Bro has to support his baby mamas. Mathieu, hey again, if you want to swing trade along, just wait for the R side. Yeah, like my big long entries are going to be at much, much lower levels. I don't think that we are even remotely close to the bear market bottom. I have to be honest, but we'll talk about that as well. So that's two things to talk about. Initial jobless claims on Thursday. I may actually consider a live stream there if we do get volatility too. The thing is, when I ask you guys in my community, by the way, I have two communities if you're interested. I have this one, which is just, you know, my updates. I posted on the YouTube channel, a couple of polls here and there. If you click this link, Telegram community, that'll bring you to that one. Then I also have my other one where if you DM me, well, you'll get to see all of my own personal trades in this market, and you can use that information as you wish. Of course, nothing that I share within my groups or on the YouTube channel should be construed as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. I'm getting used to saying that now. Have to protect the channel, of course. So we have the initial jobless claims data on Thursday. Then we have the January PPI inflation data on Friday. Then we have a total of 11 Fed speakers this week. It is indeed a busy week. Works almost every time. When it doesn't, it still allows you to capitalize on 10 to 20%. Yeah, exactly. Shorting is way more fun. That's another thing. I think some of you that are in my premium group are just waiting for me to short. You guys really want me to enter a new short. But guys, I am so damn comfy in my short that I don't want to hurt my existing position. Let's just put it that way. But I will be looking for new entries relatively soon. I just don't think that from a risk to reward perspective, it makes sense to be aggressively short here. We need to see what happens on a higher time frame basis. Some of you guys trade the 15-minute charts. I like using the 15-minute for confluence for my entries. However, when it comes to swing trading, 4 hours is my go-to. Do you see Bitcoin forming a new and shorter range around current prices? Maybe wait for developments on all fronts. It is possible. It is indeed possible. Right now, we're essentially just stuck between 66.4K, the value area low, and that 65K level, which we closed below, but then essentially reclaimed fast. Now, we need to see continuation. Otherwise, this can easily just bleed lower once more. And guys, if you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button. Smash the like button. 83 likes, guys, come on. The last live streams, I think we had at least a few hundred, at least 300 likes. Smash that like button if you guys like the live streams. I know the market is boring, but if you're still tuning in right now, things will get a lot more exciting, in my opinion, as we carve out a bottom, that bear market bottom, and head into the bull market, which I think will likely repeat as we've seen time and time again. And that's actually one of the other topics I wanted to discuss today. Bear market bottom targets again, because I know there's a lot of new viewers. If you've been on the channel for a while, you know that my target for the Bitcoin bear market is actually a good amount lower than where we're currently at. That being said, I won't wait to try to catch the perfect bottom. Anyone that tells you that they can catch a perfect bottom is full of crap. There's no need. There's no need to try and time the bottom. Can you try to DCA in? That's exactly what I will be doing. for example, let's look at the previous cycle. Again, you guys are probably tired of me talking about this, but from the high down to the low, let me remove this magnet, down to the low, call it just over 77%. Bitcoin so far has dumped 52%, 53%, depending on which exchange you're looking at. And the target here would likely be, in my opinion, at least over a 60% drop, which means that, in my opinion, not financial advice, I think that Bitcoin will likely tag this wick, sub 50K. I don't think that is unrealistic for Bitcoin to do. Now, from my long-term spot portfolio perspective, the moment that we start getting those closes below this level, $60,000 that is, and we actually get continuation to the downside, this is when I'm going to start scaling in with a small portion of my cash position, and I'll likely be adding to my position as I head lower. If you want guidance as to how I am personally doing that, remember, you do have the first link in my description down below. I'm just sharing with you in my Telegram group how I am, one, operating in the market on a day-by-day basis, but two, how I am actually trading the market with my own capital. But right now, things aren't looking good from my longs perspective. Let's just say that. But what's your favorite food in Dubai? Man, there's so much incredible food in Dubai. Like, of all the cultures, you can eat literally anything you want, and it's just excellent. I love it here mainly for the work environment. Between updating my community, which again, little shill, first link in my description down below. If you want to see all of my own personal trades, you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram. Updating my community, looking for opportunities to trade this market from a swing trading perspective most of the time, publishing my YouTube content, and looking to build new endeavors to try and help the crypto community out. I'm very, very busy, but it makes sense, and it's awesome because a lot of people here literally work 24/7. I hardly catch a break, but it's totally worth it, and it is so rewarding because I actually spoke to some other creators in the crypto space, and they told me that the time to really build your foundation in the crypto market is going hard in the bear market. And that's currently what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to update you guys every single day how I'm operating in this market, what little trades am I taking here and there, what swing trades am I taking, and I'm trying to build out a very nice community, which all of you legends are, in the bear market. And grinding in Dubai has been the way to do it. I'm very much locked in, and also the weather is just phenomenal compared to Canada, where it's literally freezing cold. And sorry, I kind of went on a tangent about Dubai. I like all the food in Dubai. Sorry for the lackluster answer. This is the third live stream, legends. This is my third live stream. Go ahead and smash that like button. We're up above 100 likes. We have to make it to at least 300 likes. Once we get to 300 likes, maybe there's a little surprise for you all. Let's go over some other things here as we take a look at the stock market. Yeah, it's just not looking pretty. Like, guys, if the stock market just continues this kind of price action, Bitcoin unfortunately has no chance. Lambo, you got any cars? I may be revealing some of that, but here's the thing. You guys see my portfolio, my trading portfolio, at least when I come on the channel every single day. And I have to be honest, I think this is enough to show. I don't necessarily feel the need to show all these materialistic things. Like, I can show some watches and stuff like that, but I mainly, this is going to sound crazy, I mainly walk around in Dubai. I like to stay healthy, and in most cases, I walk. I walk everywhere. I walk to coffee shops. I do whatever I feel like by foot, and it's just also more convenient to take like a more luxurious taxi, let's say, or have a potential driver, but I don't necessarily need that at this point in my life. So I'm pretty content. I have to be honest. Maybe at some point I'll show you guys a nice vehicle, but for now it's just not necessary. Thank you for your support, X-Tech developer. I really appreciate you. Let's go through some comments here. Trueflation. That's the thing. I don't think, unfortunately, that the Fed really pays attention to trueflation. That being said, they did came out and say that they started paying attention to prediction markets. So that's super, super interesting. But they have their own way to measure CPI. And unfortunately, I don't think that because trueflation says that it's lower than it actually is, that will have any kind of impact on the Fed. And actually, we need to talk about the Fed because there's a couple of things to discuss. So, first and foremost, there is a concerning sign regarding all of these surveys when we get, for example, the unemployment rate. The current population survey response rate is down 64%, which is the lowest on record. This is the data the U.S. Labor Department uses to calculate the unemployment rate and other metrics like underemployment and multiple job holders. This is actually crucial for you guys to understand. Since 2009, this percentage has fallen around 30 points and is now even below the 2020 pandemic levels. You heard that right. Fewer people than ever are responding to the survey the Labor Department uses to publish economic data. And this is why prediction markets are actually thriving at this point in time, because a lot of people are now arguing that it is much more relevant data. Now, as a result, the labor market estimates are built on increasingly incomplete data and are far less reliable than in the past. So, what actually is the unemployment rate? What is happening here? This just continues to drop, and I don't see this trend changing anytime soon. Of course, this can have a long-term impact on the market. Now, there was something else. Of course, we're winning. Where is it? Obviously, stocks are dropping because Bitcoin is dropping. Crypto stocks, I mean. Then we also have the fact that, thanks for... Bro, I'm sick as fuck right now. This is saving me. Thanks. Nice. Happy to help you while you're sick. I actually had a very sore throat and it finally went away. Some of you guys are getting annoyed with this guy. They're pushing U.S. expansion at Trump crypto event. So he made his highest profile U.S. appearance since his presidential pardon at a Trump family crypto forum. He said Binance aims to expand offering a superior product to American consumers. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't personally trust Binance. They are not my go-to exchange by any means. If you've been watching me, you know that Bluffin is actually my go-to exchange. And again, if you want to sign up and get fantastic bonuses, you do have the first link in my description down below. There is an affiliate disclosure. There is a disclaimer in the description down below just so you understand all of the details. But I like trading on Bluffin. You can get VIP 1, which significantly reduces your fees, and up to a 20% deposit bonus depending on how you're trading on the platform. Back to CZ and Binance. So he is no longer running the global Binance exchange, but it seems like he's spearheading a lot of their movements. This is very, very interesting. It can't be a surprise that as soon as he gets his pardon, or he gets his pardon after he invests $1 gazillion into Trump's family's crypto projects and supports Trump. And so make of that what you will. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the live stream comments down below. I'm not fighting against Binance, but guys, there's been some pretty shady things going on, and a lot of people would attribute the 10 out of 10 liquidation event to Binance themselves, but I'm not making any accusations. I'm just presenting the facts. Zhao highlighted opportunities under a friendlier U.S. regulatory climate, including restoring banking ties or pursuing a charter. Though any move would need the right legal team, of course. Binance remains independently managed, continuing to build products and services for U.S. users. We'll have to see how this develops. And let's talk about Trump and his tariffs, because not only do we have, what's going on with Iran, and there's a lot of people very, very scared at the moment, but let me refresh. Okay, we're back. So what I wanted to get at here is the tariffs. Any country that wants to play games with the ridiculous Supreme Court decision, especially those that have ripped off the USA for years and even decades, will be met with a much higher tariff and worse than that which they just recently agreed to. Buyer beware. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So he's really continuing this tariff card. And something else that we need to understand with this tariff card is on Truth Social, he came out and said, as president, I do not have to go back to Congress to get approval of tariffs. It has already been gotten in many forms a long time ago. They were also just reaffirmed by the ridiculous and poorly crafted Supreme Court decision. Let's take a look at Bitcoin quickly. Yeah, guys, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. I can't lie. Like I'm going to close my hype trade in approximately 8 minutes. So I'll update, if you're in my community, I'll update you that I've closed my trade, of course. But I'm going to close this trade. Looks absolutely horrible at this point in time. We're not getting the relevant reclaims. Yeah. Okay. Let's just go back here. Back to my point. There's actually ways to impose the tariffs, legal ways, and he has options. President Trump does have options. So at least 5 fallback options to impose tariffs. They come with tighter limits and procedural requirements, reducing his ability to move quickly or set rates as high as he wants. So we have Section 232, threat to national security, and federal agency investigation required, yes, by Commerce Department. Limit or duration of action, none with the actual tariff rate as well. Section 201, injury to domestic industry. Yes, he needs the federal agency investigation. The federal agency investigation is required by the International Trade Commission. 4 years may be extended to a maximum of 8 years. 50% increase, phase down required after 1 year. No sound. Can you hear me? Okay. Anyways, someone says refresh your streams. Okay. Then we have Section 301, discrimination against U.S. businesses or violation of U.S. rights under trade agreements. Another reason for imposing tariffs, federal agency investigation required, yes, by U.S. trade representative. Now, what he's actually playing at with these 15% tariffs, you get the point, you can look at this chart, is the international payments problem. Federal agency investigation required, no. And you can see here, he turned these 10% global tariffs into 15% global tariffs. Then the last one, discrimination against the U.S. commerce, no, none, up to 50% for tariffs. Let's see how the price action develops. I'm not a fan of this price action. I have to be honest. Now it looks like we're essentially just rejecting into the value area low. But all that to say that Trump essentially has options to impose his tariffs, even though the Supreme Court ruled that the manner in which he imposed his original tariffs were illegal. He still has options. If the IEEPA tariffs fail in court, Trump's team may rely on other laws. Section 122 of the 1974 Trade Act allows 15% tariffs for 154 days to address trade imbalances, possibly followed by targeted tariffs under Section 301 used against unfair trade practices. The Court of International Trade suggested Section 122 could provide a strong legal basis for global tariffs. The administration could also invoke Section 338 of the 1930 Tariff Act, which permits up to 50% tariffs on countries that discriminate against U.S. trade. Crazy stuff, guys. All right, let's refresh our friend Walter Bloomberg and see what's going on now. Naturally, Bitcoin has absolutely no chance if the stock market plummets. We've covered this time and time again. We need stocks to maintain on a daily time frame basis above their bull market support band. This is an absolutely crucial level. If stocks lose this level, we start to get closes below this level. The last time this happened, we absolutely plummeted. And this was actually funny that we're talking about tariffs, the tariff capitulation low. We absolutely dumped. So if this happens, things will not be looking good for crypto. Keep this in mind. And right now, this daily candle for stocks is not looking too hot, but we have seen these candles reverse previously. Let's see. 4 minutes until I close my hype trade. And I take the hit. Okay. You're good now. Refresh stream. All right. Most people think that 60K comes before 70K. Let's see. Let's see if the majority is right. That actually gives me a little bit more confidence in Bitcoin maybe getting a cheeky little move to the upside. But again, nothing matters unless the stock market holds up here. If we just close below here on a daily time frame basis, it will look horrendous for stocks and by nature horrendous for crypto. Something that we need to also address is the fact that the price action that we're seeing is so similar to the previous cycles. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's take a look at it. Let's move this. There we go. Finally a clean chart. Awesome. I'm very glad that my content could provide you that value. At the end of the day, the whole reason why I'm creating content in the crypto space is to try to provide the value that I wish I had when I originally joined the industry. The industry is literally filled with, unfortunately, a bunch of dishonest people, scammers, especially with the ones promoting all of these crappy altcoins. But you guys have heard me talk about that time and time again. So I'm just doing my best to provide the value that I wish I had. Win or lose, you see my trades. They're all here. And I've been pretty honest about the fact that over the past, I want to say a couple of weeks, it's been a rough patch in terms of trying to get these longs in the market. I'm risking a lot less capital on my longs, but I have this massive hedge short, and I'm not going to keep repeating it, but you guys could just take a look at it, because I think that based on the feedback, I should stop repeating it, because it's been a while since we've been just below $100,000, but I'm happy I can provide the value. Okay, Amar, go off with the hype long. The only thing that you should pay attention to with hype long is if we zoom out here, you need to understand that it's looking pretty bleak. So even though we can likely bounce back in this range, the fact that we're about to get 2 4-hour closes below this level suggests to me, at least according to my own trading strategy, that I am more likely to have my stop loss hit and my invalidation is met. Therefore, I close this trade. So that's that. What was I saying? What was I discussing, Legend? Okay. Yeah, the price action that we're seeing right now. So what I was gunning for here, oh guys, it looks just like too similar. It looks so similar. It's scary. Look at this. We dump. We get a pump into the bull market support band. We dump. We get a pump into the bull market support band. We nuke. Again, we create a pretty decent wick. This is what I was playing. We talked about this in my last video, and make sure to go check it out if you haven't already. But basically, we went up, over 20%. And so I think when I measured it from the low previously, it was around like over 25%. But then we get that massive dump here. Again, getting rejected from the bull market support band. And I'm so happy I timed this Pico short. Big dump, dropping below very important levels, dropping below the previous all-time high, finding no support at these tariff capitulation lows, which I'll remind you were a very, very important level for me. I was paying attention to this level, and we just nuked right below it. And now we're just chopping to the downside. This is starting to look very, very weak. Now, with these wicks to the downside, we can sometimes get an okay move, but this is not what we're seeing right now. Unfortunately, it's looking even weaker than what occurred in the previous cycle before rolling over. And so what I'm trying to do here is show you guys fully transparently what my trades are and the reason for my trades. And ultimately, this is a very good zone that we managed to hold as support as well on the higher time frames back in this 2024 massive consolidation range. And so this is what I was eyeing. The logic was there for the trade. And unfortunately, if we start to get another 4-hour candle close below $65,000, I'll also close my Bitcoin long. It's as simple as that. So because of this, losing this level would suggest that we can go ahead and move lower. And how much lower did we go after that? Well, from the wick high down to the bear market low, there's another 50% drop. Now, I'm not necessarily calling for another 50% drop, but if we were to get that, you're going sub 40K. This is not unreasonable whatsoever. Something else I wanted to show you guys. Saw. On the lower time frames, looks like it wants to continue to the upside. What looks like it wants to continue on the upside? Bitcoin. Yeah, guys, I've been covering the lower time frame. Sorry, I'm just giving you a bit of a higher time frame analysis first, but sure, we can discuss the lower time frames as well. We're getting rejected at the value area low right now, so it's not what I really wanted to see. But let me just continue the higher time frames. So my accumulation starts below this wick. To be perfectly transparent, I'm going to share it with you in my community. Reminder, if you want to see how I am operating in the market from a spot portfolio perspective, from a trading portfolio perspective, you do have the first link in my description down below. This is where I share all of my trades. Win or lose, all of my trades are shared. Now, I'm going to close this hype trade at an $18,000 loss. You can see it. Market close. Done. So that trade is done. And one moment, I'm just going to update the community right now saying that I closed my hype long. I closed my hype long 18K loss. After a second, level. Okay. Yes, exactly. I'm seeing some of you guys message me on Telegram. Online updating. 18K. Gone. So there you go. I'm never going to shy away from losses. That's part of the game. That is literally part of the game. And I'm sorry, but if you think that anyone could be perfectly accurate and win every single trade in this market, you're mistaken. That being said, though, I'm very, very excited to start sharing gold trades and stock trades within my community. So again, if you want to see my trades in other asset classes too, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword CBM, and I'm more than happy to onboard you in to my group. Let's see. Let's answer. Bitcoin looks too weak, almost like no level around it matters. And this is the thing. This is, it's frustrating because this is bear market price action, right? Like you have these support levels. They can act as support. But unfortunately, if price wants to move lower, it simply wants to move lower. And the stock market is looking not too hot. Not too hot at all. We cannot lose this level. If we lose this level, GG's, good night. That's that. I'm in your Telegram group. Awesome, Mac. I'm glad that you're in my Telegram group. Amar, I would agree with you. I would like to see above 66.4. Let me go to my other chart. I would like to see above 66.4 because it's the value area low. 1 second. Let me just take this again. But the idea is there, Amar. I do agree with you. Like the idea is definitely there for a potential trade setup. if my chart is going to load. Absolutely. 5 straight red weeks for Bitcoin. I'm not sure why this isn't loading the volume profile. Interesting. Guys, if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comment section down below. I'm going to read some questions now, and let's chat a little bit. Bitcoin looks so weak. Bitcoin looks so weak. It does. It looks god awful. It looks awful. I started trading on Bluffin, and I'm very happy. Like, guys, honestly, I cannot lie. Bluffin is just such an incredible platform. I know some of you guys probably get tired. Like, why are you even talking about this platform? It's not that good. It's epic. I absolutely love it, and I trust them. I wholeheartedly trust them. Red Jan followed by Red Feb hasn't happened yet, right? Actually, great update. Monthly returns coin glass. Let's look at it. So, quarterly, monthly. Here we go. Yep. There has never been a red January and red February in Bitcoin's history. Back to back. Never. Are we going to break and make history? Only time will tell. But guys, it's going to be hard to get a significant move up for Bitcoin. Let's see. Let's toy around with the idea. Let's get a let's assume from here. All right, so we need Bitcoin to essentially make it close to just below $80,000, and we will save history. But guys, I don't think it's likely. But hey, my base case, if you've been following me on the channel, and this is something that I'll openly admit that I've been unfortunately wrong about so far, at least, is a continued relief rally to above $70,000. Despite the fact that I am short, I am also longing Bitcoin. And if we get another 4-hour close below $65,000, I am out of that trade. But I want to see us get a move here sooner rather than later. What's your biggest all-time risk-reward trade? I need to go back to my journal and actually take a look at that. I mean, one sec. Let me check if I can find it. It's so tricky because, okay, this swing short that I'm in, I have it in, like, you guys, you could see all of my transparent trades in my Telegram group. Again, click this link, DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and you'll be able to join my private group where I share all of my trades, win or loss. All of my own personal trades are shared there. But in my pinned message in my group, I essentially have the trades that I'm in. Now, I entered my Bitcoin short at $97,000. Granted, I think I added to my position to get into this one. My initial target was 90 to 92K. Stop loss was at $101,000. Then my next target was 87K. Then my next target was 80K, 74K, 70K. And actually in my first ever live stream, one of you guys commented that I should probably take some more profits on my Bitcoin short at $63,000. And that's exactly what I did live. So yeah, if you want access to all of my trades, you do have the first link in my description down below. From a risk to reward perspective, I mean, this was an absolutely phenomenal one. But again, If you're new to the stream, just to be perfectly transparent, I just closed an $18,000 loss trade. So just to let you know. Crypto is aligning more and more with macroeconomics. So as we're going into 2026, we'll have a recession soon. So we'll have a multi-year bear market. What do you think? I don't know about a multi-year bear market. But the thing is, you have to also understand that crypto is the riskiest of asset classes. And so what this means is it usually takes the hit first and more aggressively. So while I am saying that, look, if the stock market just nukes, where's the stock market? If the S&P 500 just nukes here, and right now, guys, it's not looking good. We're pretty nukey. If the stock market nukes below this bull market support band, then crypto will, of course, take a hit. But crypto has been, we've already dropped over from the high to the wick low, as I've outlined. We've already dropped over 52%, I believe. And so I think that by the time that the recession is actually called, the bottom will already be in. That's something that everyone needs to consider here. So look, it's about whether or not you believe in the asset class in the long term. If you don't, then that's perfectly fine. But all I'm telling you is that in my experience, this is not the time to leave the market. Can it get worse? Likely. I think that Bitcoin will likely go lower. However, I also do believe that there will be phenomenal opportunities at much lower valuations that I will personally be taking. Those are my thoughts, at least. There's no guarantee, not financial advice. As always, as I have to say, please read the disclaimer in the description down below. But I am here for the long run. And in the more immediate short term, I trade the market that's right in front of me, try to make as much profits as possible, and with those profits, I stack Bitcoin near the bear market lows. By the time that they call for a recession, it's highly likely that the bottom, probably for the stock market and for crypto, will be in. So it's definitely something to consider. If Bitcoin hits 50K, then 200K is the next top. Oh, we haven't spoken about this in a while, but my next bull market top is actually I measured it previously. Let me zoom out. It's not as exciting as all the moon boys will give you, but my next bull market top is somewhere in the vicinity of around $160,000 to $180,000. Now, again, to be perfectly transparent, my bull market top this cycle was between 130 and 160, and unfortunately, we didn't make it up to 130. We missed it by like $4,000. But hey, I'll take it. It was relatively close. I didn't sell as much Bitcoin as I would have liked to, but it is indeed my long-term stack. So I will be accumulating at much, much lower levels with all of my trading profits. Will Anderson, I do not continue to journal all my trades simply because I've been trading this market literally since 2017, and I'm actually looking for a platform to potentially share within the community that I use for journaling, because I think it could be very, very interesting, especially for new traders. To answer your question, it's not necessary. It's not absolutely necessary, but it definitely helps. I've seen people become profitable traders without journaling everything. And my recommendation would be to do it if you can. Take a look at the risk that you're taking per trade. Also, outside of the actual numbers behind the trade, the risk, the profit target, the stop loss, the invalidation, outside of all of that, the most important thing to journal, in my opinion, is actually how you're feeling. That might sound absolutely ridiculous, but I used to journal how I felt before taking a trade, leading into a trade, and based on how I felt, I would essentially know whether or not it's okay for me to take the trade, even if there's a valid setup. Because the thing with trading is that there's always a new opportunity. Always. You can miss trades, you can get stopped out, there's so many opportunities, and your actual mental condition going into the trade is an underrated factor that I think it's very, very important for people to understand. That being said, it might not be a good idea to stocks. Okay, something else. What's his name? Let me just show you something. I want to touch on the fear and greed index because some of you guys think that just because I think it's I think it's this guy. This guy from Coin Bureau. Some people just post all the time. Let me just see. There you go. There you go, legends. Buying Bitcoin in extreme fear is not the best call. When you buy and the fear and greed index is below 25, it has usually yielded an average 90-day forward return of only 2.4%. By contrast, buying in extreme greed has had a 90-day return of 95%. This isn't to say to just go all in when you know the fear and greed index is in an extreme greed, but it's just to show you that just because the fear and greed index is low, it doesn't mean that it can't stay at that level for an extended period of time. So be careful with oversimplifying things. On the channel, I try to simplify my trades and how I'm analyzing the market as best as I possibly can to try to give you guys a good glimpse as to how I'm operating and give you a good understanding of the overall market dynamics. But seeing some kind of fear and greed index at all-time lows, for example, it doesn't mean that it's like a automatic buy. You need to be smart about it. Can you potentially DCA in, as I would do? Yes, of course. But it's crucial to understand this. Motion regulation was how I went from break even to finally profit. Exactly, Rodolfo. Exactly. Emotional regulation is everything. It's everything in crypto, especially crypto. Some stock traders will say the same thing, and of course that's the case. But guys, it's so frustrating how correlated they are. Stocks pump. Actually, how correlated stocks and crypto are to the downside. Stocks pump, crypto gets a little bit of a move to the upside. Stocks dump, crypto's like, hold my beer. And that's what we got. So stocks dumping, crypto front ran it a little bit. Stocks getting a little bit of a move here. We need to reclaim the value area low. I'm not sure why this is not loading. Let me zoom in to the 4 hour. But yeah, emotional regulation is absolutely everything for crypto. Sorry for my messy drawings. You'll have to excuse me. Gold's been doing well. Yes. I'm using December low and December high to form a range on hype. Valid as well, Amar. Why? That's why. I'm silly. I'm on the crypto. By the way, legends, if you search crypto on TradingView and you use the crypto chart for Bitcoin, it doesn't actually show the volume on the exchanges. That is where I went wrong. Right now I'm on Coinbase. So again, it's the same scenario. We need to create a higher low here, and we need to reclaim the value area low for continuation. Otherwise, bloop. Let's see. People don't own. Silver gold fever, 100%. I completely agree with you. This is the other thing. There's a bull market somewhere, and precious metals are doing quite nice. Let's take a look at gold on Bluffin. By the way, if you want to trade with me on Bluffin, remember that you do have the second link in my description down below. If you click this link, you can get up to VIP 1, and you can also get a 20% deposit bonus depending on your trades. Now, something else that I need to share with you guys that I haven't really shared on the YouTube channel. I get thousands of messages on my Telegram, and I try to get back to everyone, but the reality is it's impossible. When I first started my group where I share all of my own personal trades, I was getting back to every single person, and it's just no longer feasible because from a time perspective, I just can't. Imagine getting thousands of DMs a day. It's very, very tricky, and I want to help everyone out. And sometimes on a Saturday, for example, where I'm not publishing content, I'll try to go through a couple messages and answer, but it's tricky. What I wanted to share is, and some of you might think this is unfair, but if you are trading with a decent amount of capital and you have signed up with the second link in my description down below, I do tend to prioritize you. So what happens is if you join my group after you've signed up with Bluffin, not only can I get you VIP 1 if you've deposited 25K, VIP 2 if you've deposited 50K, VIP 3 if you've deposited 100K, and potentially VIP 4 depending on, if you've deposited over $1 million. There's a couple of millionaire traders in my group. You also get access to my personal folder on Telegram where I answer all of your messages with priority, let's just say. So I'm trying to make it fair. I try to also get back to everyone, but obviously I had to start prioritizing based on capital size. So if you are trading with a good amount of capital, sign up with the second link in my description down below. I can get you more than VIP 1. I can get you VIP 2, VIP 3, maybe even VIP 4. Let me know. DM me on Telegram using the first link in my description down below. And I'd also be happy to answer your queries on Telegram itself, your personal queries, that is. What were we discussing before that? Yeah, gold. Gold looks rock solid. Guys, should we enter a gold trade on stream? I find the opportunity here is already missed, unfortunately. Sorry, Alex B. It's very, very tricky for me to not shill because I want to make sure that everyone's aware of my community. I want to make sure that everyone's aware of the bonuses. I'm a sucker for Bluffin. I really do like their exchange. So I don't think that many people can get VIP 1 if you're new. And if you just search up Bluffin and you sign up, you can't get VIP 1 unless you've used my affiliate link, which is the second link in my description down below. And I just turned that into a shill. But I'll stop I'll stop shilling for a little bit here. Guys, can you hear the music at all? It should be up a little bit. A gold short. That could be interesting. But higher time frame, I'm bullish on gold. I think we could potentially see gold up to $10,000. Obviously, this takes years and years and years to play out. It's not the same kind of asset class. We're in the trillions and trillions and trillions of market cap. So it takes a while for these things to play out. Sorry, Alex. My apologies. Would you consider shorting the S&P because everyone is saying it's going to crash and lag behind Bitcoin? So, number one rule, at least how I trade, if everyone says that something is going to happen, I don't trade that direction. For example, the easiest example was the Bitcoin short. Weekly time frame, we hit the bull market support band. This movement, everyone was giga bullish. Like, wow, we are going to skyrocket. And I went short right here. So I am a contrarian trader. I try to look for opportunities. Like if I see that all of the biggest crypto influencers in the space, the real bad shillers are going max long, then I do get worried for my long position. And actually one of you shared this with me on Telegram. I said that the moment that everyone gets very, very bullish, I will be scared. And I was looking for longs in this price range. And then I started getting messages saying, bro, it's not looking good. All of these influencers are starting to go long. And unfortunately, you can see the result of that. So yeah, if everyone is shorting the stock market, it's probably not a good idea to short the stock market, in my opinion, of course. Let's see how the stock market develops here. Let's get out of the 5-minute chart. Maybe we go 15-minute. Looks okay. We're trying to hold this bull market support band. You can see that more recently, last week, we tapped into this level, bounced. Bull market support band is crucial. Maybe not on the 15-minute chart. I don't think that it's crucial for us to pay attention to it. But on a daily time frame perspective, you can see how often it just, when it taps into it, it holds as support. And when it loses it, sometimes we get a quick reclaim. And then if we really do lose it, we get a massive dump. I will be likely buying stocks if we can get to sub 6K again. I do have a stock portfolio, to be perfectly transparent, though. Thoughts on silver? I'm more bullish on gold than I am on silver at this point in time. Oh man, what do I think of Chainlink? What do I think of altcoins is the real question. And if you've been watching me for a while, guys, for Buddha Belly Crypto, if you've been watching the channel for a while, please tell him what I've been saying about altcoins for the past year and a half. Maybe that'll be helpful. I'll let the community answer Buddha Belly Crypto. So please let him know what I think about altcoins if you've been tuning into the channel. Hey yo, what's up? What is up, my man? Okay. So maybe I turn the music up a little bit louder, but for me right now, I can hear the music very well. Hey, Trick Rick. No trolling, man. I have never said that. I have never said. I've never said that Chainlink is the best investment ever. That's ridiculous. You must have not tuned into the channel. Oh man, what a joke. That's hilarious. I like using DeFi Llama, but it's not the be all end all. The only real thing that I use on DeFi Llama that I have used historically, if I can find. Total value locked, of course, that's crucial. Fees and revenue, baby. This is what I look at. Fees and revenue. If the protocol is generating some good fees and revenue, then I do think that in the next cycle, it can actually be a decent performer. That's what I'm essentially going to start my thesis with in the next cycle. But please keep in mind that you're talking to someone that has been vocally bearish on altcoins for a very, very long time. So unless, guys, 200 likes? 200 likes? Let me refresh. Okay, smash it some more. Smash it some more. We need to hit 300 likes. Trap longs closing and shorts closing soon on hype. Tells me bounce soon. Valid. Bro, you remind me of Bad Bunny. I've gotten that before. I don't know why. I don't think I look that much like him. But basically fees and revenue is where I'm going to start my research with altcoins. But to be perfectly honest, I'm holding like no altcoins. None. I've seen people get wrecked. Can we make a higher low here? Bum, 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 bum. Give it to me, baby. Come on. Come on. Give me that. Give me that higher low. He trades Bitcoin because alts are too volatile. And basically, yeah, it's not because alts are too volatile. Look, guys, if you just joined the stream, I closed live my trade at a loss. My hype long trade at a loss. It's not because alts are too volatile. In fact, in a bull market, I actually sometimes prefer longing some select altcoins because they can massively outperform. But it's mainly just because the second part of what you said. Bitcoin determines the rest of the market. So like really, especially with bear market price action, if Bitcoin pumps, it's likely that altcoins can get some relief. If Bitcoin dumps, altcoins likely drop lower. Although altcoins have been dropping a little bit less than Bitcoin. That is for sure at this point in time, despite me still holding my Bitcoin dominance long. Okay. How is everyone doing? No relief rally. How can you tell when sentiment is super bullish? If you look at a lot of bullish content, then the algorithm just feeds you. Okay, Curtis. For me, it's tricky, and that's a very valid question. Very, very valid question. Looking at the comments, if you're looking at bullish content, obviously everyone's going to be bullish. Looking at bearish content, obviously everyone's going to be bearish. What I like to look at first and foremost, after looking at the structure on the chart, of course, as I always have to start with, is if we're in a trending environment, number 2, and number 3, liquidations. I really like looking at this liquidation map. On the 1-day time frame, about an equal amount of longs and shorts in this market, 7-day time frame. This doesn't mean that we have to go and liquidate those shorts, to be perfectly clear, but this does add confluence to potentially looking for longs in the market. I use this as confluence. From a content perspective, to be able to assess, how people are feeling outside of the fear and greed index, I think that when I get new viewers to the channel, it's an excellent gauge as to how the market is feeling. So what I mean by this is, of course, if I'm very bearish and everyone is within my community and you guys tend to agree with what I have to say, which I don't always recommend. I like when other people have their own thoughts and they can trade the market accordingly. But if, say, my community is bearish, then you'll notice that when I post a bearish video with a red thumbnail and things like that, a lot of people will get frustrated about it. And I'll get some pretty nasty comments. And if the majority of those comments are nasty because I'm bearish and they're bullish, then that actually makes me a little bit happy. I actually get worried if I'm giga short and everyone is very, very bearish. At least I'm talking about when I get my initial entry. Right now, the price is so far gone. We're over $30,000 away from my entry. So, I don't know if that helped, but it's also the reverse. If everyone is extremely extremely bearish, 200 likes? We did get 200 likes? Let me refresh again. Can we get a cheeky, is it 229. Guys, cheeky 250. Cheeky 250, cheeky 300. So I'm not sure if that helps, but basically looking at my own comment section, and I have the benefit of that because I'm a content creator as well as a trader. So I get to gauge the overall market sentiment. Darwin Award. Altcoins are in price discovery to the downside. Can we go below zero? I don't know. Valid, Luke Draco. I'm going to go through some comments here. I feel like we've just been taking a look at the chart. Oh, quick question, guys. Do you like it when I go through comments and I actually show the comments on screen? Or are you okay with me having the chart in the background as I address some of the comments? Let me know, because I see some live streamers, they just show the comment section. So let me know what you'd like. I believe Bitcoin put in Monday's low, but let's see. Amar, I actually think it's possible. I'm not going to lie. Like I see so many people that are very, very, very bearish. I am in a small Bitcoin long as well on my other account, and I'm holding this short. Like I actually think that based on what I'm seeing here, as long as we don't get more 4-hour closes below $65,000, it looks relatively okay. It's valid. It's valid. No, I don't care. Are you listening? I don't care. I don't care. Just chart. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Seems like most of you just want the chart. Okay, sweet. Guys, look at the poll. Look at the poll. I'm going to show this. I have to show this. Look at the poll. Everyone is very bearish locally. Guys, almost 70% think that Bitcoin is going to hit 60K before 70K. I know it seems hard to believe, but this is pretty interesting. This is pretty interesting. If my community is bearish, will you turn bullish? I mean, I'd like to think that my community, the way that you amass a community is people like to hear what you have to say. So I guess everyone's bias is in line with my own bias. So it's tricky because if everyone in my community is bearish, maybe gold short now. All right, maybe I go in short. Holy smokes, guys, we're almost at 70% of the people think that Bitcoin is going to hit 60K before it hits 70K. Is it over? Is Bitcoin never going to hit 70K again? No. You guys know my thoughts. I will accumulate in deep discounted zones. My pleasure. Yep. Gold is the most beautiful asset you can wear. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Keep in mind it's my community. Who is Simply Jack? Am I getting some hate? Usually if you get hate, you're doing something right. I usually get hate when the comments when the trades don't go well. That's usually what happens. You guys should see my Telegram DMs. It used to affect me a lot, but now I'm at this point where at the end of the day, I'm sharing my own personal trades. Reminder, if you want access to all of my own personal trades, you do have the first link in my description down below. Click this link, DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and I'd be more than happy to onboard you into my group where I share all of my own personal trades. Come on, Bitcoin. Let's get a nice bounce here. That's a solid 15-minute candle. Let's see it. Let's see it. Yeah, Amar, that is part of trading. The only issue that I've noticed within my group, because all of the trades that you're seeing here on screen have been shared in my group, is people risk too much. When I risk, for example, over 2.5% of my trading portfolio, it is considered a big trade. 2.5% and below is considered, a decent trade, relatively small. But on my short, I used around 3.5% of my trading portfolio because I had such high conviction in this trade. So it's all about risk management, and that's all I can really say. What happens though is if people see, and this is just me being fully transparent. If people see, for example, that I have had 4 great calls in a row, they're going to join my group, and then based on my trade, I see people essentially messaging me saying, dude, the last trade got stopped out, I lost all my capital. If you don't know how to adopt proper risk management, then it's simply not for you. You need to be very, very cautious, and you need to protect your capital. That is absolutely crucial. Crucial. That's like number 1 in trading. Protect your capital, use proper risk management, and try to manage your emotions. They bank on your... Yeah, I get that. And that's what bothers me. I will have losses. I literally shared a loss on the live stream. So if people think that I'm a fortune teller, well, sorry, my group is not the one for you. That being said, I have a history of getting some very, very nice moves in the market. my best moves over the past, say, 4 months, which yielded me most of the profit that I'm showing, is along here at around $82,000 when we formed this capitulation wick low. We got a nice move to the upside, and this ended up netting me around 300K. This one down below, this short from 97K, is in the past year is now officially my most profitable trade in the past year. That's the thing with swing trading. Sometimes you just have to wait for the opportunities, and in the meantime, you just trade the market on the lower time frames. Then we need to keep a close look at the government decision. What do you mean, what signal am I waiting for? Guys, this poll is looking sexy. I really like how 70% of the people think that $60,000 is going to come before $70,000. Rodrigo, should we do it? Do I just enter along on the stream? I may actually consider doing some live trading on the stream because I think it could be a good way to educate my entries, exits, and things like that. Reminder though, if you want access to all of my own personal trades, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram. I'd be more than happy to onboard you into my group. The only requirement is that you've signed up with one of the affiliate exchange links down below. You can read all the details down below. There's an affiliate disclosure. I'm not a financial advisor, as I always have to state. But with Bluffin, you can get VIP 1 and up to a 20% deposit bonus. You click this link and you're all of a sudden trading on my personal favorite exchange in the crypto industry at this point in time. If you know, I think that's the last 40% of people that still have hope of a bottom from here. Okay, let's talk about the current price action. Because something needs to be addressed here. You know how I've been saying I think that we can likely get a move to above $70,000? Well, the probabilities after losing the value area low have diminished. We cannot ignore that fact. If we start to get multiple 4-hour closes below $65,000, again, the probabilities diminish once more. However, if we do get the move, I hope that if you've been watching the channel, you're not just going to get excited, because my next big trade in this market is likely going to be a swing short, because I ultimately do think that we will end up rolling over even if we are to get relief to the upside. So in the more immediate short term, this poll that you're seeing here is positive. I'm happy to see that a lot of people are bearish. But higher time frame, guys. We have the tariff capitulation low, key level. Can we get a move here? Only time will tell. But this move here would likely be followed by another roll downwards, in my personal opinion, of course, and I would be trading this accordingly. Now, we have to see how the price action develops, because, you know, you can't just, okay, jump into the short, and perhaps we don't even make it there. Perhaps we just bleed from here, because, again, if we lose $65,000, the probabilities favor a move to the downside. But if we start consolidating above the tariff capitulation high, which at this point in time seems, tariff capitulation low, but we consolidate above it, there's a case to be made that Bitcoin could go to the mid 80Ks. I'm not a moon boy. I'm just keeping you up to date with the probabilities. So that's something to consider. But again, remember what we discussed. A little bit of a relief, boom. That's currently what I'm eyeing, and there's no reason to think otherwise. Sweeter short at 70K. Absolutely, Curtis. Absolutely. If we just start skyrocketing here, and I think everyone's just going to think that, hey, that was the bottom, and then we're going to absolutely nuke, and it could be a interesting opportunity. I would be willing to take an opportunity like that. Thanks for the live. My pleasure. In my community, I asked if you guys wanted live streams. Oof. Come on, Bitcoin. That's pretty damn ugly. In my community, I asked if you guys wanted live streams, and the answer was yes, but whenever I ask video update or live stream, most of you guys just opt for the video update. So to make it fair, I'm going to try to do one live stream a week now, and then of course on key events like FOMC, or if I'm a loser on a Saturday night and Bitcoin is just absolutely dumping and I have nothing better to do, I'll flick on the live stream. I don't know, man. Amar, I have no way of knowing whether or not Iran is going to be attacked this week. You know, there's rumors about it. In my last update video, which I highly recommend you guys watch, I mentioned the ex-CIA officer talking about how it's likely that Iran's going to get attacked either Monday or Tuesday. But who knows, guys? Who knows? At the end of the day, I'm just presenting the content, and I don't really have a strong opinion about this. The market does what it will always do. Yes, more live streams. Appreciate it. I will be doing more live streams. It's Will Anderson. Man, I like your personal questions. What do I do when I'm not live streaming or trading? I'm ripping some tennis, and I'm exercising, going to the gym. That's basically it. I want to get very, very good at tennis. I'm a football player, but I have acquired a love for tennis at this point in time. I actually have a buddy of mine that's next to me right now, visiting from Canada, and we are doing some nice workouts every single morning at an outdoor gym. So it's quite nice here in the mornings, have to say. I like your perm. Bro, this is all natural. Perm. Give me a break, man. My mom has curly hair. This is natural. What time is it in Dubai? Right now it is almost 9 p.m. Cheeky 250 likes accomplished. Working on 300. Come on, legends. We got to do it. We got to do it. Yeah, Will, tennis is a blast. I'm assuming that you must be playing inside a dome or something if it's freezing cold. Or, I mean, I don't know if you have snow where you're at, but yeah, it's a blast. It requires so much technique. You see it and you see the highlights and you think, oh, this is great. I can do this. This is effortless. And then you start playing and you realize, first of all, it's not about how strong your arm is by any means. It's all about technique and how you can actually swing it, and swing it with control. Guys, I'm looking at my analytics and I'm getting a spike in viewers after I talk about tennis. Maybe I should stop talking about crypto. All right, guys, it's going to be a tennis live stream. Let me go get my racket. Dun, 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 dun. You want to hold here. You want to hold here. What football team do you support? I'm a Man United fan. I've been watching them since the Wayne Rooney days. He was an absolute legend. I want to open. That's very strange about UAE and bluffing. I just saw your message KCVH6EZ. Now, I never tell anyone to use VPNs, but I am based in the UAE, and my account works fine. That's very, very strange. Very strange. like you can see here, this is my bluffing account. So yes, FC Porto. Nice. I had a buddy of mine that actually watched a live game. He got to see Pepe. Pepe is a funny player, man, the center back. Hold. No panic sell so I can buy more. Check. Oh, something else that we could talk about from a higher time frame perspective. Let's go on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. First and foremost, you see this purple line. It's the 200-week EMA. Not pretty, guys. Not pretty. We broke right below it. Then we have the 200-week, simple moving average, which puts us right below this wick. I do think that we will tap this level. It's likely. Very, very likely. The question is when. This is what I personally think. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that you see on the channel should be construed as financial advice, nor within my Telegram community. I just share all of my own personal trades and how I am operating in this market. And a reminder, it's weird, the stream kind of drops back and forth. Pepe was the GOAT. What about stock trading? I will be trading stocks as well. If you check out Bluff in here, MicroStrategy, Amazon, Circle, Coin, Hood, Tesla, like they're starting to add some stocks and I'm very, very happy about it. I will be trading gold and stocks. So that's that. Now we just have to see how Bitcoin just reacts to this level. Can we make a cheeky high or low here? Hi from Portugal. Hello. I actually lived in Portugal for a good 2 months. Right out of uni, I went to Portugal and I was trading out of Portugal. It's a pretty nice place. Very, very nice place. Guys, I'm curious. Where is everyone from? Comment your country down below. Right now. Comment your country down below. Where are you from? Very, very curious. Oof. Yes, Amar, British Columbia. I actually lived there for 3 months as well. Beautiful. Oman, my mom. US, Costa Rica, London, Wyoming, US, Belgique. Très, très bien. Fantastique. Ukraine, Kenya. Awesome. This is awesome. Alberta, Canada. Great stuff. Sydney, Kenya, US. India. Awesome, guys. Absolutely awesome. Switzerland. Very, very nice. I have not visited Switzerland. Netherlands. Phenomenal. Howdy from Texas. I have some family in Texas as well. Calgary, Estonia, France, Colorado, Brazil, America. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Buddha Belly Crypto. I am from Canada, in case you guys didn't know. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. It's interesting. I'm trying to see the dynamics, like how to keep, you guys engaged and make sure that people continue to tune into the stream. But when I ask a question like, where are you from? I have my data like right here, and it's showing that basically people don't give a crap about that, and people are just dropping off the stream. So sorry, I don't mean to provide any fluff. I know it's just my live streams are probably a little bit more chill, and it's not just straight TA. But even straight TA live streams, I see people drop off. So I'm trying to do my best here to provide a mix of content, engaging with you guys and and how I'm trading the market, and it's a lot. It is a lot to handle. Amar, we have some work to do with February, man. We have some work to do. That is for sure. Never in history did we get a January red and a February red back to back. Never, never, never. Guys, a lot of people will make remarks about my liquidation price. It's because I'm using, number one, cross margin. Second of all, my stop loss is at break even. My entry was at $97,000. I'm going to keep my stop loss to break even, so I can't risk any I can't lose any more capital on this trade. I've already secured around 300K, holding about 100K. But again, I try to make it abundantly clear that I do have some losses. Like, as we started this stream, if you guys have been here the entire time, I literally lost $18,000. So you saw me close the trade live, and you can go back in the live stream and see, because I got my 4-hour invalidation, I had to close it. No ifs, ands, or buts, no emotions, and that's how you trade the market, in my opinion. When Banana Zone, I need your help. Legends, I need your help. I need your help. I've started this thread on my X account. By the way, if you want to follow my X account, I'm going to start sharing some of my thoughts on the market from time to time, but I don't treat it as seriously as people just bull posting or posting a gazillion times a day. I'm not that inclined to do that, but I will share some of my thoughts and some funny pieces of content. Give me the next addition to my most recent thread. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I've started creating a thread of the most common things that we were told this cycle. M2 money supply, Banana Zone, super cycle. So that's 3 so far. Give me the next keyword that I should answer this with. M2 money supply. Give me the next one. I'll write it right now. Give me some recommendations. Big rotation. That's good. No Banana Zone. Listen to Raul Paul. Oh, I'm so glad I saved you, Will. Gosh. Guys, Raul Paul is like a serious investor. He has so much support, tons and tons of support. And don't get me wrong, he's well-spoken and he provides good information from time to time. But like, a lot of people got wrecked listening to him. There's no denying that. A lot of people got wrecked listening to him. Moonboys, Big Short, Business Cycle, ISM. Oh, okay. That one, there's a lot of good ones here, but I have to take Crypto President. That is absolutely epic. Everyone was bullish. The only thing that this guy did was launch his own meme coin and then rug us. Henrik, shout out to you. Crypto President. Music is too loud? Okay, I'll turn that down. My bad. I thought it was too low before. Crypto President. Post. Who's going to be the first one to like it? I'm waiting. Who's going to be the first one to like it? Okay, so the positive thing, a lot of you guys aren't following on X, but no big deal. Guys, I share some stuff on here for shits and giggles. We got 2. We got Ahmed. We also got DJT. Awesome. Okay. So the positive thing that I wanted to share with you guys regarding like this whole, crypto president nonsense is we don't need the government involved with crypto. That was the whole point. We don't need them. It's not necessary. And so to me, I couldn't care less whether we have a crypto president or not. At the end of the day, Bitcoin did its thing this cycle. Did altcoins underperform? Yes. It sucks. It's unfortunate. Altcoins underperformed. However, Bitcoin still did its thing. Diminishing returns, diminishing drawdowns. And on that note, that's why I think, I don't think Bitcoin is going to drop 80% as we've seen in previous cycles. Perhaps over 60, maybe as much as 70 in my opinion. But anything remotely lower than that, I'm going to be a huge buyer of Bitcoin. An absolutely massive buyer. Why not add more? That's a good... why not add more to my Bitcoin long? Because I have my invalidation. The thing is, if we do lose 65K with conviction, I do think that Bitcoin can go as low as like 61 or 62K. I just don't think it makes sense. And I know there's a couple of YouTubers that have said like, oh, we're not going to hit those lows, but I'd rather get a better entry and take the loss. I'm not one to just constantly add to positions, especially with my risk tolerance. It's all about risk management. You don't want to enter a trade and be in with all of your trading portfolio, as I know a lot of people unfortunately do. You have to be very, very careful about how you're trading this market, and you need to adopt proper risk management. And unfortunately, the best way to learn that is suffering losses. I hate to say it, but that's just the truth of the matter. Yeah, that guy that sold his Bitcoin for some pizza, absolutely insane. I want this trade to play out, but for now, Bitcoin just looks pretty weak. What are stocks doing? Yeah, that's why. That is why. Leave me a wick. Let's get that reversal for stocks. Come on. Give me a move to the upside here. Bruh. Damn, I'm late, but looks like the stream has been going well. Yeah, guys, the stream has been going well, although the viewers are slowing down here ever so slightly. So it seems like it's not a super exciting environment. The last time I did a FOMC minutes, very, very good environment. Then I did when Bitcoin was nuking, very solid environment. I think if I start to do one stream a week, I have to expect that these streams won't perform as well as the other ones because there's no real key event here. We're just seeing how the market is reacting to Trump's 15% global tariffs, and stocks are not liking it thus far. Reminder, if you want to see all of my trades, win or lose, all of my own personal trades, how I am taking my own capital and trading this market, you do have the first link in my description down below. You click this link, DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and I'd be more than happy to onboard you into my group. The only requirement is that you signed up with one of my affiliate exchange links. Fully transparent. You can read all of the disclaimers in the description down below. And if that interests you, also, if you're trading with, for example, over $100,000, I can get you VIP 3 on Bluffin after clicking the first link in my description down below and DMing me on Telegram. And you can join my group as well. Let's see Bitcoin. It seems like we're just chopping around. I wouldn't want to see us lose 65K again. Otherwise, it simply just looks weak. We got rejected at the value area low at this point in time. So I'm annoyed, don't get me wrong, but what can you do? Yeah, D Sneaker Tech. D Sneaker Tech. Guys, it looks crazy, the fact that most people are thinking 60K first. If we're gonna form a higher low, you want it to be here. Give me the confirmation of 65K as support. Otherwise, we're headed much lower. Guys, come on. If Bitcoin doesn't go to all-time highs next year, I may have to die. Like, come on. I want lower. Yep, don't we all? Don't we all? Oof, Luke Draco. That is Draco. That's yikes, man. Yikes. We've all made some mistakes. Like, seriously, if I didn't make any mistakes in crypto, I would have had a gazillion Bitcoins by now. But unfortunately, I don't. It's just the way she goes. It's the tuition, as they say. You have to make these kinds of mistakes. Boom, 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 boom. We've retraced 50%. If we're gonna get going, we got to get going from here. Yeah, we definitely have some room to go lower. My medium time frame, higher time frame bias is that we will likely be headed lower. Hence my massive short. A lot of tuition. Yeah. Unfortunately. I actually lost so much money in crypto when I first started. And this was back in the easy mode. Even then, you end up being... sorry, I got distracted. One moment. You end up being greedy, not taking profits on spot positions, on trading positions. And it took me a few cycles to really get the hang of it and get to the point where I can actually operate in the market stress-free. I know it's a lot, it's difficult, but at the end of the day, if you continue to tune into crypto, you tune into the live streams, you tune into the videos, you will make it. I've said it time and time again, and I don't just say it to give you all this mushy-gushy nonsense. I do firmly believe it. I firmly believe it to the bottom of my heart. Like, these are the moments where you want to be paying attention to crypto when no one is paying attention to crypto. Yes, Windsor She. I'm still in my Bitcoin long trade. I closed my hype trade. Any updates will be shared in my community. All of my trades that you see on the screen here, shared in the community. First link in the description down below if that interests you. But yes, I am still in my Bitcoin long. Closed my hype long at a loss, as I shared, and here we are. %. I think that with the rise of AI and what's been going on, like, there's not that much of a case for school anymore, like university, that is. Obviously, basic education is important, but like, my biggest benefit in uni was having fun with friends and thoroughly enjoying life. And I don't think I can downplay that. It was a great time. But in terms of like actual learnings, not required to trade the market that's right in front of me, as I always say. We have... Yeah, Fortis Toro, I do think that that's... Look, it's something to consider, but remember what I said. You can't just look at this chart and say, all right, we are absolutely going to pump. If Bitcoin wants to move lower, it will move lower. But this does add confluence to the analysis. But again, I don't want to see us lose these levels, man. It just doesn't look pretty at this point in time. Really doesn't look pretty. Since following you, I only lost money when I deviate from your analysis. That is awesome. I love to hear that. Right now, I'm on a mini losing streak with my longs, to be honest. But obviously, I have my big position in the market. Look, I just want to provide as much value as possible. That's the whole point of what I'm doing. And I need to still film a lot of educational series, but I think it's going to be very, very important to have a playlist on YouTube going over from start to finish how I actually trade the market. So let me know in the live stream chat if that would interest you, of course. Chat, should I take gender studies? Bro. Don't get me started with that nonsense. That's actually it, Greenhawk. Like, it's tricky to trade Bitcoin at this point in time, especially if you're not positioned from a short from higher. And so on Bluffin, they actually have stocks and gold. So I'm going to be looking to trade stocks and gold within my community. If that interests you, remember you do have the first link in my description down below. You click this link, DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and you get access to all of my own personal trades. Guys, we've been live for a little bit here, and we just hit 2,000 viewers. Should I stay or should I go? Let me know in the comment section down below. Should I stay or should I go? Pump in 3, 2. Yeah, let's see. This is not looking good. I'm annoyed. I'm just annoyed at this point in time. This looks hideous. Stay until all-time high. All right. I guess I'll be here for, what, like 2 years? A year and a half? Let's see. Indecision is bugging me until we break. Stay. Yes, I do see your message. Pepe. I can't pronounce that. Sonol M-I-F or 5530. Stay. All right, sweet guys. All right, guys. Wicks are okay, but we need to hold here. I gotta be honest. This is it, man. We need to hold here. We need to hold here. Pepisa. So here's the overview, guys. Here's the overview. We're currently sitting at pretty important support. If we start to lose 65K and we get like those candle closes below the level, things will not be looking good. And it looks right now the probabilities are favoring that we move lower. We've already retraced around 50% from this pump today. We got rejected at the value area low. I don't like what I'm seeing. My invalidation is if we get the second 4-hour close below $65,000, I'm out of my trade, of my long trade, that is. Going to continue holding the short, of course. So. Yeah, man. I just want to see a monster dump again like the first stream. Don't call for a monster dump. We'll extend for, I'll probably do another 15 minutes or so. And then any and all relevant updates are going to be in my community. DM me the word CBM on Telegram to join my private group. You'll get access, or you'll be able to view all of my own personal trades. And I would highly recommend you join using Bluffin, which is the second link in my description down below. It's where I trade everything at this point. I'm actually getting them now. They haven't quite added the S&P 500 index, but I'm getting them to add it along with oil. I know it sounds weird to people that are in crypto, but there are other markets out there. Yeah, the 1 hour looks horrible. Like you would think that from this point on we can get a little move to the upside here, but it's just looking so weak. And am I going to be surprised if I go to the stock market? Of course not. Of course not. So like, come on. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you guys want to know about me as we watch Bitcoin just dump and my longs getting wrecked? It was a pleasure. I'm going to leave in the next, like 5-10 minutes. I'm here in Abu Dhabi. Where are you, bro? I've been following you since last year. I'm in Dubai. Habibi, come to Dubai. I am in Dubai. I don't know if I want to share where I went to school and things like that. I grew up in Canada. There's some weird people on the internet, so I try to be careful about what I share. But yeah, I grew up in Canada, went to a school in Canada. My first language is actually French. I'm French Canadian. And let's see. You said 62.8? Oops. Remove this magnet. What are you looking at here? Ah, I see. Yeah, that's valid as well. That is valid as well. Yeah, man, too bad about the hockey loss. It's interesting though. All my buddies are huge hockey guys, but I've just always stuck to football. I love football so much. Bitcoin is dropping. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be careful about the stalkers. How long have I been live? Feels like it's been a good hour and a half. Why did I move here? I moved here specifically for opportunities, let's just say. The taxes in Canada are pretty insane. And so to me it made sense to not move. Or sorry, to move. Also, the mindset here is it's pretty intense. A lot of people work a lot, and it's where I thrive. I have to be honest. It's a solid place to be. Mon français laisse un peu à désirer. Je suis français canadien, et c'est pas vraiment comme français de France, you know? If you go to France, they'd probably make fun of my French. Français de France. What price range and in what time do you think? Oh, certainement au Québec. Yeah, certainement. You make money spot holding or leverage? I make money doing both. Of course, nothing that I share on the channel should be construed as financial advice. Not a financial advisor. Perfect time to plug the disclaimer. But I make money both. In these kinds of market conditions, though, like obviously just holding spot and praying that the price goes up is not great. So right now it's trading. I say I make money trading. Meanwhile, aside from this short, my longs are getting cooked. Longs are getting absolutely cooked. Yeah, facts. If Bitcoin closes below the 4 account, what are your plans? Also, do you have any plans of averaging your current Bitcoin position? I may add to my existing short. That is valid. But I have to be honest, I wanted to see higher before adding to my existing short. So what about a cheeky double bottom? Some of you will be pointing this out. Are you sweeping this? Is this the plan? Looks pretty brutal to me. Why do I don't know why people use the word liquidated so often. Guys, I can't remember the last time I got liquidated. If you mean by selling spot, then yes, I did sell some spot, but not all of it. I have to be honest. I'm in this for the long haul, and most of my spot accumulation was sub. Oof. Dropping. Most of my spot accumulation was sub 30K for Bitcoin, so I'm kind of chilling. Volume is coming. True. Sweep the lows, quick reclaim. This is let me zoom out here. Maybe we can talk about a potential setup that I would consider taking. I don't know, man. Like let me just stupid magnet. No. It's aggressive. It's definitely aggressive taking on something like this. You know? Very, very aggressive to take on, sweep, reclaim. Very, very aggressive. I have to warn you. But I've done it before. W formation on what time frame? Oh, my long entry was awful. It was 67.7. That's my average long entry. But my invalidation is multiple 4-hour closes below $65,000. I like to use invalidations, so if I'm invalidated, I'm invalidated, and that one will ultimately be a loss as well, which is frustrating to share, but it is what it is. Horrible. Why is Bitcoin dominance dropping? Because altcoins are dropping less than Bitcoin. That's why. So if you didn't know, Bitcoin dominance doesn't only go down when it's alt season, but it goes down if alts are outperforming Bitcoin in any direction. So I hope that makes sense. So if alts drop less than Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance will go down. Brilo, that's valid, but it's all about risk management, right? Like, I'm against modifying positions too much. So setting a wider stop loss is like, it really depends on the game you want to play. But again, if you guys want access to all of my own personal trades, you do have the first link in my description down below. You DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram after clicking this link, and you'll get access to my group where I share all of my own personal trades, win or lose. I'm not going to make it seem like I win every single trade, because that is not the truth. I do have some losses, more recently especially. It's hard to say if Bitcoin dominance dumping in a bear market is quote unquote normal. I actually think that we can get another spike, but it's just like this. Where's Bitcoin dominance on my chart here? Oh, there it is. It's just this whole cycle, Bitcoin dominance has been going up. It's like, so I don't know. Hard for me to say that it's normal. It's just alts are just performing worse than Bitcoin. We're going to talk about peak. my bull market target. It's perfect. If January and February have been your worst months ever, my non-financial advice is it's okay to take a break and step away from the screens. The real thing that you're going for is net profitability over time. That's why your overall risk that you're taking per trade is absolutely crucial. Guys, I have seen people with my own eyes that join a group. They turn, for example, $500 into $10,000, which for people joining with $500, like that's a lot of money. And after turning that $500 into $10,000, they get very, very excited because a couple of good trades play out. But it's clear that the whole time the risk management was off. Because the only way you can go from 500 to 10K in a short period of time is if you're not following proper risk management. And what people don't seem to get is that, like, if it works out and everyone's happy, of course. But what happens is you get used to taking a stupid amount of risk on your trades, and then that 10K goes down just as fast as it went up. So my non-financial advice is make sure you're always risking what you can afford to lose when it comes to cryptocurrency trading, especially. It can be brutal, and it's more devastating to go up and run up your account massively by taking on a stupid amount of risk and then running it back down. It's arguably more devastating to do that than to just start losing with a lot less risk. Losses are okay. If you can manage them, they're okay. Yeah, man, I risk too much. Yep. How many times have you guys heard me say, don't diddle in the middle? Well, we are in the middle. The only reason I'm here is because my trade is about to not play out my Bitcoin long. So let's see how the price action develops. But you guys want to look at MicroStrategy? I saw a comment about MicroStrategy. I don't personally trade it, but I would consider it. Now that it's on Bluffin, I would consider it. By the way, if you're interested in Bluffin, you do have the second link in my description down below. You click this link, you can get VIP 1 and up to a 20% deposit bonus. All the terms and the conditions are down below. Love the non-financial advice, yeah. Very difficult to give you advice for going back to India, because when I go back to Canada, I'll have to pay a lot of taxes too if I ever decide to go back. So I'm in the same boat as you, man. My base case is that Bitcoin will not be dropping to 3 to 10K. I don't think that the probabilities favor that, let's just say. All right. Is it time to sweep the lows? I'm a full-time trader. Let's see what the poll is saying now. Still 68%. I think that 60K will come first. What do you mean it happens on many occasions? If you really zoom out on a monthly Bitcoin chart, it's higher highs and higher lows. And so that would suggest that despite the fact that we have some kind of gap down there, that if history is to repeat, of course, that we shouldn't head towards 10K. I think that that's unlikely. Let's see if we break these lows. Legends, legends, legends. Legends. Nice. Jay Rumi, you shorted hype and you bet against me. Huge, man. What a trade. Awesome stuff. Yes, that's exactly what the background music is, Fabian. I looked for non-copyright music, and ultimately this is what I got. It's pretty chill. I know some people like disco kind of stuff, but the way I close my long is my stop loss at 64K, which it looks likely to hit, or we get the confirmed 4-hour candle close below $65,000. So unless we bounce here, I'm probably going to get stopped out. Looks likely. It looks likely. You know what's interesting? When I don't speak, I can see that the viewers are going up on the live stream. So maybe I should just stop talking and just stare at the chart. I've seen a lot of people do that, and somehow it works. But anyways, at least my short is still printing. Exactly. But I think people are tired of me talking about the short. It's time to get better and newer opportunities. So try and try until you cry. That's crypto. Correct? Boom, boom. It's weird. Bitcoin has this way of always doing this on the way lower time frames, like 5 minutes, where it's like you have this level and you're looking for a sweep, and then it just front runs it. We'll have to see how the price action develops here, but it's just so funny how this usually happens. But I think that we're probably going to hit the level, to be honest. The thing with these shorts as well is it's one of those that you take and then the price just completely nukes. And then it very rarely gives anyone new entries. Like the next best entry was above $90,000. So double bottom is forming. Possible, yeah. It's possible. But there's 15 minutes until the hourly candle close. I will drop off probably in the next 5 minutes or so. I'm also, but I think I said that last time. Why didn't you short more alts when Bitcoin was more shorts on the next cycle? Good question about shorts. Who's going to pay? Because if we just refresh this, a lot more shorts in the market. 61, there's a pretty big long cluster at 64.1. Something to consider. I would like to see us hold here if possible, but at this point I'm not betting on it. I have my trade open. My long will get invalidated likely. Very likely. Exactly, Gregor. You're a legend, man. Like, so many of your comments are so valid on my YouTube videos, and I also enjoy talking with you on Telegram. Very, very sound advice. Logical. It's rare in the crypto industry. What if we do... lot of shorts piling in. I know, we can't talk about the knife catching adventures. It's important to not catch falling knives, although sometimes I like to dabble with some knives myself. But this is not one of those knives that I'm willing to catch at this point in time. I have my long open. It's probably going to get invalidated. And after that, I'm just simply just going to reassess the market because it's pretty choppy environment. Legends, I think that's that. Remember, if you want to join my free group, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and you'll be able to join my private group where I share all of my own personal trade setups. And you have all of the exchanges down below. We have Velto, which is self-custody if you're into that. We also have Bluffin, where you can get VIP 1 and up to a 20% deposit bonus. And if you're trading with more capital and you let me know on Telegram, I can give you VIP 2 all the way up to 3, and you'll get added to my private folder on Telegram where I will communicate directly with you. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to sign up and join my group. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap for the live stream. My longs essentially are getting invalidated, and that's that. It's part of trading the market. Short still doing well, and I'll keep you updated as the price action develops. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe as always. And I'll see you in the next video.